Hi, welcome back to channel TrainStation 2. Alright, happy to share that I've claimed this legendary train with 4,000 event keys, and of course this is the start of the third competition. I have an early start in this competition itself, and I find myself in a quite good positioning. And of course, after doing the collection of the EPH start, we managed to be on the top spot. So that's really interesting here. Of course, there will be better players coming on board eventually, so-called the jammers. They will be spending lots of gems and they will climb above in the ranking chart. That's expected. So really happy if I manage to get top 5, and eventually at the end of the whole event, probably after 5 or 6 competitions, we should be able to get that legendary train of 1000 event coins. Given the fact that we have already obtained 350 coins in the first competition, and I think the second one 160 or so, so we have 500 over. So definitely it's doable. 4 more competitions to go. As long as I have 1000, I'll be more than happy to conclude this event itself. One of my targets I always do is to get legendary trains. So I'm half of it done, which is just claiming the legendary. I'll share with you later on. Next, of course, I'll work towards epic, then rare, then common. Why so? Because you don't know how many keys will you attain end of the day, but you try to get a maximum capacity train out of the event, which is definitely the higher tiered in terms of quality, the better, i.e. Legendary will be the best. Just bear this in mind. If you need to upgrade a legendary train in a region train in the Netherlands, it will cost you a lot for just 1 capacity, but you are getting 40 capacity legendary as compared to the 20 legendary region train. So event train actually has a lot of advantage. With that additional 20 capacity, it will cost you a lot of parts and a lot of coins to do that. So getting event trains from here will have really good capacity. I have already one that upgraded, I think 64, you can see here. So this the other event train that I have is 40. With the additional, we have another 40. So that will be great addition in terms of legendary power in this region 7 and stuff. So epic, we have quite a number, but I think legendary, that was the one that's rare, especially when the job that requested only region 7 trains and no specific in terms of the types. That would be great, because my legendary can actually move things faster, and of course with that we can reduce the number of legendary dispatches, so to speak. Right? So imagine driving a legendary train across the city. I think that's really fascinating, right? As compared to driving a 4 capacity train, you're driving a 40 capacity, or even better, I mean, you upgrade to 80 capacity. I think that's really totally great, especially the feeling that you can complete jobs that requested assuming 240 quantities, and you just have 3 of those trains dispatched and you're done with it, as compared to probably having tons and tons of trains dispatch to be with capacity of 4 or 6, or even the highest region is 20. So that's why event trains are the most precious trains ever. Of course, I will try to get a special building if there's one. I'm not too sure whether there's a special building in this event or not, but apparently I'm sure that this is definitely an event not for 99% strategy. Just complete 100%, and I believe you get consistently 70 EP jobs. Alright, so that was my experience previously in one of those events. Once you complete 100%, every single job you do will be 70 EP. That's why you can climb the ranking chart faster than anyone else who have not completed 100%. So you go ahead and complete it ASAP. Alright, so it's really important end of the day to have high EP returns, because every time you do a 70 EP, people may be doing 20 plus, and you actually double the speed. So really important in that context, of course. And how your map been doing? I mean, my maps have tons and tons of new buildings popping up all over the island, or the city itself, not an island. So definitely very beautiful scene after we have completed 100% of the whole event, and we take a look at the whole map itself with all the interesting buildings that we have built from scratch. Can you imagine this? You have built a city from scratch. That's a really fantastic event, and I really love this event. It's so new in the concept of having choice of building. So I think this is really great as compared to previous events whereby everything is fixated. You just go to the customer to build that bridge or build that building or whatever that's already decided up front. But here you have a choice of 3, and you can see the different buildings actually being featured here. So I think that is excellent in terms of the design and the theme of this whole game itself, because end of the day, I don't know what's going to come next, but if we move on with such choice, just imagine we are doing, assuming, I don't know whether you have played this Dino Park, alright, so imagine you have done a Dino Park, or next time they do a zoo, and they said, alright, would you like to build enclosure for probably zebras, or as compared to enclosures for lion and whatnot. You make a choice, and that is quite interesting, don't you think so? So that could be another team whereby I said build a zoo, right? So so you have all the train dispatch to do and build a zoo. So that would be quite interesting. So I think in moving in that direction, I think Pixel Variation is doing great, because this is the first time I have such excitement when it comes to choices of buildings, and it's very fascinating. I mean, in terms of choices of the buildings, be it the color scheme or be it the design, I think that's really really great. Looking at the structure, you can see it's really artistic, and that brings out the whole flavor of the architecture. That's the building that sits on that beautiful piece of land that you own. So just imagine yourself being the mayor, or you can call yourself the property landlords, or the big MNCs that actually start building constructions of buildings. Really, I think full of imagination when you play this game, right? So besides that, I think in terms of getting things done as usual, try to split your resources well. Try to do things whereby you have the highest capacity delivery possible. Like imagine this, you can deliver using a 6 capacity train versus an 80 capacity train. Always, of course, choose the 80 capacity train in the other job. Alright, so don't do the 6 capacity train in the current job. Choose another job that you can do, and you have items to deliver that can do 80 capacity. I think that will save a lot. Do not simultaneously do all 3 at the same time. If you could, try to complete one before the other, so that you know what's coming and can prepare for it. Just imagine that you have 3 jobs simultaneously working on it. All 3 are not done, and eventually you complete all 3 together. So what's going to come up next, you won't know until you receive all the 3 new customer orders, and you fumble because none of it you have items. So that's the one that is disastrous. Alright, so make sure you don't come to that consequence of that issue there. It's always good to have that planning to ensure one's done at a time. Okay, what's going to happen really next is really the excitement in order to do what we want with that new train. So that will only be shown probably in the next video, whereby I can show when there's opportunity to, whereby they ask for regions 7 trains only, and I can choose any type of trains. Alright, so now let's check out the ranking. You can see here doing quite well. I'm quite happy with this result. So of course, you know, there's always up and downs. Okay, the jammers are around. They will definitely be able to afford to beat us, especially us who are gem poor. I'm not going to spend any gems at this moment. I'm trying to conserve it and see whether when it's really necessary, then when we are stuck, then we just try to use them. Otherwise, it's a total waste of precious gems that comes really hard, especially for us that are not Android players or who are not paying customers. So make sure you conserve your gems to the actually necessary moment before you use them. These are really precious resource. Alright, sometimes just be patient and wait for the train to be back. That's perfectly fine. Alright, so now I've received upgrades, of course, gradually with so-called when this drops, it comes with XP. So when you receive XP, you definitely have to level up. So that is something I try to compress or try to reduce, because the faster you upgrade, the faster you go to the next region, and I think I'm not totally prepared with that. I need to build a strong fleet. Alright, so now really the moment we're waiting for, and I'm really glad to share with you this fantastic moment. Alright, that's fascinating to have this train, and it looks good. Its color scheme with this. Alright, thank you for watching, and I hope you good luck in your competition. Goodbye.